Hare Krishna. I'd like to thank the organizers very much for giving me this opportunity to be here with all of you. It's my first chance to just speak English and no translation for about 6 months, I think. It's another opportunity I have. I wanted to read something just before we begin chanting. I thought it was appropriate to the occasion. And of course, it's a quote from Srila Prabhupada. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's one of my favorite quotes because somebody asked Prabhupada, "What do you think of when you're chanting?" It was a good question. And Prabhupada gave his answer. And in his answer, he described it as the best meditation. Now, of course, there are many ways one can absorb their minds and consciousness in Kirtan, and many thoughts may come. And Prabhupada would oftentimes say that these thoughts should come naturally. And he would emphasize most important is hearing. And he speaks about that here. Of course, one time, one devotee asked Prabhupada, "Is it offensive to think of Krishna's pastimes when we're chanting Hare Krishna?" And Prabhupada's response is, no, it's not at all offensive. On the contrary, it's required. And but then he went on to elaborate that it will come spontaneously and naturally if we simply try to hear. And this particular quote I was going to read, short, the devotee asked the question, "What should you be thinking about when you're chanting? What do you think about when you're chanting?" And Prabhupada's response, "Chanting? You simply hear. When you say Hare Krishna, you try to hear the very sound. Hare Krishna. That's all. Nothing more. This is meditation. Your tongue and your ear should be engaged in sounding this transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna. Best meditation. This is also accepted in Bhagavad Gita, the best meditation. You don't keep your mind elsewhere. So keep your mind on the chanting Hare Krishna and hear. So this is responsive. When I was chanting, you were hearing. When you were chanting, I was hearing. So it is exchange. I hear your chanting, you hear my chanting. This is the process. So there is no possibility of thinking anything else. Best and easiest type of meditation, fully. Actually, you at once become on the transcendental plane. Therefore, we feel dancing, you see? Very simple response for most simple and sublime activity of chanting the holy name. Prabhupada describes it as the best meditation. I was going to read one very short statement about this meditation that one should have when one's chanting, from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he uses a word here that might sound a little bit, a word that you wouldn't really identify with Kirtan. He calls it man-made Kirtan. What is a man-made Kirtan? One might think. And it's very simple how to avoid a man-made Kirtan. Very simple. It's not something very difficult. But he uses the word, a man-made kirtan, which seems to suggest that, well, of course, we think about a kirtan, a golokera premadana harinam sankirtan. It's not man-made. It descends. It's imported from the spiritual world, transcendental sound vibration. But in this quote, he describes what a man-made kirtan is. Chanting man-made kirtan is not the same as actually chanting the Lord's name. Man-made kirtan is an offense against the chanting because it is not aimed at gratifying Krishna's senses. We do not worship the Lord with mundane sound. Very simple way to avoid man-made kirtan. It's for Krishna's pleasure. And that's best meditation. Best meditation. And Prabhupada says, best meditation is chanter chants, others hear, and when others are chanting, person who's leading, he hears. Best meditation. And it's all for Krishna's pleasure. This is a few profound statements from our previous acharyas, and of course our founder acharya, Srila Prabhupada, to help us absorb our consciousness for kirtan. So I'll begin.